Well, hey people, I'm sorry I've been away for a few weeks. Been suffering from a bad back, found it hard to sit at my bench, and today I'm going to be building an old car that I used to have, the Mark II Escort, and this one is the Tamiya Mark II Escort. Torque tube motor is supplied, the body is painted. I have got a battery pack for this, I've got the steer servo, I've got the bearings, I've got some chrome or matte plated wheels because I'm not really a fan of the blue ones that it comes with, so we'll see what that looks like. I have a pistol radio, which is a 3-channel. Now I'm thinking about making the headlights work on this, so let me get into the build before I start doing that and see where we're going with it. And a battery charger, the full package deal. This is not for me to keep, I just wanted to build it because I used to have one of those, and yeah, let's get into it. So right, this is the iconic 2-door Ford Escort Mark II. I used to have one of these. It is the Tamiya MF-01X chassis. It is a 4-wheel drive. Wheelbase is 239mm. The body is painted. This comes with the Mabuchi 540 torque tune motor. Very, very reliable motor indeed. Doesn't come with any of the lights, but we will fit those as it goes on. So it's just a polycarbonate body. We have got the servo, receiver and radio. We have a battery pack and a charger, and we have the ESC, which is included in the kit. So what do we have in the box? Let me move you over this way a little bit. Have an uncut, but it does look like it is perforated around the arches, which is good. Yeah, just need to cut around those. Need to remount those headlights, but we'll not do that. Might even be part of the lenses. I assume that there is a covering over the top of them. Yeah, we have a cover over the entire body. So yes, all pretty good. So let's get organised. All the parts out of D-bag into, you'll remember from my older video that I put all my stuff in tubs, open them all out so we're not faffing about later on. And here we go with the front diff. As you know, on the edge of the Tamiya manual, just here on the left margin, you will see that we have the diagram, and these are the exact size that you need. So the screw size should match exactly, and the washers, they should also match exactly that size. Same with the pins and the bevel gears, you know, they all correlate to the same size. So I'm not going to bore you too much with how it all goes together, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to use the Tamiya grease, okay, because I'm going to save that for a bulk use one day when I get enough tubes. Instead, I'm using multi-purpose super lube, which is PTFE. It's dielectric, food safe, clear, heavy duty, and I read somewhere in the spec sheet that it's vegetarian friendly. So yeah, pretty good. It's not purely synthetic. So I'm just going to go right ahead and put some on there like that, and just put these on here, and then drop that all in there, but not before. Doodle, come on, get a grip. I use my finger just to hold that on there. Drop that in there. There's lots of grease, lots of it. You can have a good healthy dollop of that in there. Just fill that up, because these diffs are not adjustable, so there's no slipper rings or anything. So I'm just gonna get that in there, get it in there good, on top of there. You make sure these pins follow on top of those rods, so the screw holes are exactly aligned with the holes. So that is pretty much full of grease. I've just dropped that. Oh well, I shall fetch it in a second. I shall just get another one out of the box. No need to over tighten them. I don't use mechanical electric screwdrivers, because you can't really feel them. And there's the screw. The bearings, I said I was going to update the two metal bearings and the plastic bushings, so I'll put them back in parts bag A and bring in some roller bearings. Right, fast forward. So okay, I've plugged in the radio. I have assembled, centered the servo and assembled the servo saver, and at the same time I assembled the diff. Now I'm going to assemble the rear. No, this is the front diff, and there we have it, all done. That's got the 3 sections in there. And we'll just snug down those 2 screws, and then the next step is to build the drive shaft. And that's just knocked them 2 off, so I'll stick that one on there. Beautiful. And then that one on there. So that is running super smooth. And we'll put those end caps on. And that is in. And that is the main chassis. And that does feel quite stiff, actually. A little bit of give, but you don't want a chassis that's too stiff, because you need a little flex. And right, I'm going to make up these, what are these, rear arms, and then attaching the rear arms. So, and building up the 2 shocks, not oil filled. So let me get the rear arms and shocks on, and I'll be right back. And there we have the rear uprights, these springs, which are not oil filled, so that's going to be quite springy when it's done. And the drive cups, and in the bottom there you might see in here a rubber ring. When that goes in there, that can play about on that, so I should put a bit of lubrication on that. And next up is the rear uprights, the hubs, the rear hubs, etc. So let's get onto those, and we'll be right back. Well, that's the rear suspension all assembled. I still think that's going to be too soft. There's quite a lot of playing, a lot of suspension travel, but I have put, as you can see, I'll just point out just here, you can see that I've gone up on the higher hole here and the higher hole on the ball joint, because that gives you either a low ride height or a high ride height. And I've gone for the for this setup here, which is a high ride height. So if it's a little bit too high, I shall just take these out and lower it down. It's no big deal. So I'm just going to see where it sits. So next up is the front and we're going to assemble the front drive hubs, because remember, this is a 4-wheel drive chassis. So front arms number 26, we're really smoking on, so let's get it on. So okay, here we go. The last bit on the frame, the chassis, that's the front end all assembled. And all lubricated up. I shall just put this on whilst you're watching. And that will complete the build up to number 32, which is that one there. It's not been a bad build. I've been up and down stairs doing something else. Just pop round to the neighbour. Yeah, so I haven't dedicated my day to this. At the end of the day, it's a hobby, and we dedicate the time we have spare. And as I've said earlier on, that I've moved house, so I've had a bit to do around the house, and mainly construct the workbench for this, and other things all over the house actually to make it mine, and work. I work on a retail contract, and we're coming up to a very busy part of the year. You may have heard of it, it's called Christmas. And yeah, that's been busy. Plus I have severe back pain, which has prevented me from really sitting down and getting stuck into things. I think that's really going to beg for some oil-filled damperers. So that's that bit done. And now we come to the motor. I am going to leave the torque-tuned motor in, because it's quite a punchy little motor, and yeah, I'm not going to waste time getting a upgraded motor, so we are we're good to go. I'm going to stick this in now and see how that goes. But we have this little guide here that tells us how far onto the motor it needs to go. So right, let me get those parts ready. So here we go. Gear in. We remove that, we don't need that anymore, and we will fit this over here. Sometimes I might leave these off, that's because I forget. And then we put, where's my I'm just going to whiz that one out again, so I can just put a bit of this anaerobic on it, because I really don't want these coming all this. Wait, what? Oh, you should have shouted that. I could hear you all shouting then. This bar should go on, and on it goes. They're not very sticky. Right, now we have that, not too tight, too loose, ideal clearance. Now can you remember in the King Hauler moving on build, you could mesh the gears using a slip of paper. We can't really do that with this, so we're going to have to just do it by feel. So I'm going to just nip one a little bit just so I can move the motor without it moving too much, and then just by eye crikey, I don't know if you can see that, but in here you can just see that you can move in the gear mesh. I'm happy with that. Pushed it together very lightly. And now I'm just gonna, you can't see sugar, right? I can see that moving the hub, it's just moving a minute amount. That is good for me. There's that sticky pad again. That's not really that sticky, so I'm going to find out what that's supposed to do and do it. So yeah, that's let me just get a bit in there before I seal it up. That's just going to make me feel better, not that it's going to do much really. And we put that on there and screw that in, not with an Allen, with a screwdriver, not an Allen hex wrench. Right, let me zoom back out because you can't see anything that I've just done. So there is that. So there is the motor installed, and keeping it out of the way of moving parts. Just going to move that into there, make sure it's not touching because that's coming over this way. And that's out of the way of any moving parts. So the next install is electrics. Let's see if this works. I haven't tried it yet, so the moment of truth. I've just tie wrapped it all up, which is never a good idea because if you've got something wrong, you need to untie wrap it. So transmitter on first and model on, and we have steering, seems to be hitting the end stops on both directions, so that's good. No end point adjustment, and let's see what it sounds like. show you this way. And this bar is rotating, and as you can see, I've put the code receiver RX, and I've put a Hobbywing 1060. I don't like the TBL4S or whatever it was that supplied it. I'm sure it's good as a brushless TBL-04S. I'm not going to use that. So what do we need to do now? Just need to fit the body, but I'm going to do that last. So turn the model off and then the radio off, and let's bring in the tyres. Like I said, I am not a fan of those. So I've got those instead. I know the car has blue wheels on the rally car that it's depicting, but I don't like the blue wheels. And oh, we get the wheel nuts as well. So much plastic. So much plastic. Really not needed. So these tread patterns are asymmetric. So we have angled ones to the outside, so the Tamiya logo goes to the outside. So there is no foam supplied with the kit. Well, I don't think I need that anymore because the chassis is done, and I think these are for a van. Go a van on there. Yeah, not sure about that. And there it is, all cut out, ready for the other bits and pieces. What I didn't like was the way the battery cable bowed out the side a little bit, so I've just looped the battery leads like this so it doesn't interfere. I've put some foam pads inside so those clips don't. I might be tempted to get some magnetic body pins, but like I say, I'm not going to keep this. It was just something I wanted to do, but yeah, gonna get all the bits and pieces stuck on. And I'm not sure whether to use some of the decals, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I'm gonna have to use some of these anyway. It has got light buckets. I am thinking of putting, but I don't know if I want to put the racing livery on. Not 100%. I might just put, I know this has got the what we used to call the X-Pack on, plus it's a 4-wheel drive, so that would make it an Xtrac. Ford Escort. I think it could do with some Mexico stickers Mexico graphics, because I did have a Mexico back in the day, not the Mark 1 but the Mark 2, and I think they made that between 78 and 76 and 78, I think, something like that. I don't know that without looking. Or an 1800 Sport or a 1600 Sport. Can't really go for the RS 2000 because it hasn't got the root snoot. But yes, definitely had a couple of these, and if I knew how much these would be worth in real life, I may have looked after it a little bit better. But hey ho, not too fussed on that. So I might use some of the graphics, you know, obviously the front grille, the headlights. Not sure about the rallying side of things. Well, a big jump ahead just to get to this point. One or two things I wasn't too happy about is the shock absorbers. I have ordered some aluminium oil-filled shocks and some magnetic body posts, because I really don't like these. Really don't like them. The stickers, very fiddly indeed. I kind of like the look of how it sits, like this. It's pretty good. So once I've got the body pins removed and put the magnetic ones on, yeah, just looking at it, it looks very nice indeed. I've put a little faint line around the door just to let the door stand out a little bit. Just very subtle, nothing too serious. I'll give you an update when I get the other parts, the upgrade parts, and as always, thank you for watching and putting up with me on this one again. I know it's not a truck, but I do have some trucks that are going to be built very soon. They are down here. I have the MAN and the King Hauler. Got some more GT Power products to review. Hit that like, it really helps my channel. Subscribe, share, and as always, thanks for watching.